you have a GM-30 GMRS radio, which by the way is a great radio, you might want to have a look at the new Plus version of the radio. How much better does this look? Let's have a look in detail.
Here we are. I'm going to have a look and see what's inside the box of the GM-30 Plus radio. Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that. Not one, but two. That doesn't happen very often. Two radios in one box. Good manual there. Text is a little bit smaller than some of the other manuals, but I'll put my glasses on and look at that, or download the one from the internet. And like I said, two radios. That's fantastic. With the battery, big new battery there. What else is in the box? Two long antennas. Okay, got a few things here. We've got a PC cord, USB PC cord there. Two headset units. Now I used to think these weren't very good, but they work very good with Vox, so we're going to test that theory. Charging cable and another one. Two lanyard things for your wrist. Two clips for the back of the radio, and two normal standard antennas, and a USB charger. So with anything battery, the first thing you should do is charge the battery up. That gives it quite a longer life. This has got a C-port battery on it, so plug it straight into USB, which is just a whole lot easier. And these cords that go with the battery, they're reasonably long, which is good. Long enough for the car. So the battery has quite a lot more capacity. We'll talk about that soon. But if you want it to last, you'll charge it up fully before you start using it. And that just clips in and screws in the bottom here. You can still charge it via USB cord. See at the back there, even though it's still connected to the radio. So one tip on charging, don't charge the battery and have the radio on at the same time. Not a great practice to have. So let's talk about the battery. The battery is a 2500 milliamp battery, and I've tested it just running GPS all day, and it only uses half the battery, so that's pretty awesome. It has a USB-C charging point at the back here, and you can also drop it in a cradle. I've got the radio here on the scales just to give you an idea of how heavy it is. 294 grams. So that's how much the radio weighs without the antenna on. I've got my GT5 Pro. Let's put that on. And that's 211 grams. So it gives you an idea of how much the radio weighs. It does have a good solid feel to it. And that's without the antenna. So this is the radio. It feels good. It's got a little bit of weight to it. Feels solid. Interesting funny thing is the actual name of the radio is right down the bottom there, on the bottom of the radio. Tiny print. Can barely read it. I would have thought it'd be bigger. But anyway, that's a bit of fun fact. It's got a few buttons down the side here, 3 buttons down the side, which we'll go into later. It's got programming, and you can put in your headset there if you want to. Looks like it fits into a drop-in charger, which will be fine, and charge off the back here, or you can do it via the USB. Up the top here, that's where the antenna goes in, and that there on the top is the GPS. Plus you've got the traditional knob here, which turns it on and off in volume. Microphones here, speakers behind the keypad, which is a great feature. It doesn't take up any real estate on the front of the radio, so you get maximum screen size. So the radio has a channel capacity of 1,000 channels across 10 zones, including 30 different GMRS channels and 970 customizable channels. The zones are great as you can turn them on and off, and it's very clever, so you can set up regions or states. So you'd have zone 1 as one state, zone 2 as another state as you move through them. So it sure is different, this Plus version, to the other version with a bigger screen and the speaker behind the keypad. And just while we're talking about statistics, it has 50 CTSS tones and 105 DCS codes as well. You can also transmit on high or low power. The USB point is great because you can use it in the car easily. Don't need a special cord or anything like that. It comes with it. So let's turn it on and see what it does.
Channel mode.
Oh, it talks to me. There we go. One little thing there, you can see the D at the top of the screen. That means that dual watch is enabled. So if you press P2 here, it'll change between the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen. You can see on the top of the screen here, we're on high power and we've got a positive offset if we were to transmit, similar to the bottom of the screen there. You can also see we're on zone 1 and we're on channel 30 there. So if I press the up button,
1,
we're on channel 1,
2,
and channel 2,
3,
and so on. So I'm on channel 7 here at the bottom of the screen. If I go up one,
8,
channel 8, you can see the N is displayed and low power. N means narrow band. So if I press the menu button here, you can see we've entered the menu. And then you've got a whole lot of options, which we'll go through. If you're listening to the FM radio and you press menu, it'll change the frequency from 65 to 75 megahertz and 76 megahertz and 108 megahertz. So it does different things in different areas. So let's talk about the P1 key here now. If I'm in channel mode, if I press P1,
frequency mode,
it goes to frequency mode. If I press it again,
channel mode.
However, like other radios, if you press P1 in other sections like scanning, it does different things. And if you press it for long periods and shorter periods, it does up and down and things like that. We'll go into that later. So the exit key is pretty obvious. When you're in the menu, it just returns you back to the home screen. We've spoken about P2, how it changes between the upper and lower frequencies. Now the keypad down the bottom here is pretty cool because it's got a speaker behind it. There's a couple of things you can do here. This hash key with the little Z is the scan.
Scan on.
So if you hold it down, it'll start scanning, and if you hold it down again,
scan off.
It'll turn the scan off. A bit like the star here with the lock key. If you hold that down,
Lock.
there we go, it's locked. If you press it again,
Unlock.
and that'll save you from bumping it. While in channel mode, you can type in the channel that you want. So
0, 1, 2.
now we're listening to channel 12, but if you press P1,
Frequency mode.
you can type in a frequency as well.
4, 3, 5, 2, 0, 0.
And there we go. That's as easy as that. You don't have to push the decimal point. It's pretty similar to all the other radios. So I'm in VFO mode, as you can see there, and if I didn't type in the frequency quite correctly, you can press the up and down arrow to change the frequency to the one that you want. So as I mentioned before, the radio has banks. So if you go to menu, first item on the list is bank. So let's go in there again. I'll press menu again. I've only got one zone at the moment, but if you wanted to, you can turn them on or off.
Enter.
So down the side here, we've got the SK1 button, the PTT button, and the SK2 button, which is programmable, which we'll talk about later. If you press the SK1 button, you can see it goes to FM radio. So you can press up or down to get the frequency if you like, or you can lightly press the scan button down here, and it will seek and find a radio station. So I'm going to talk about scanning now. So we go to menu, and we go to scan, and then we hit menu again to go into there. We can select the frequency range. So here I've got it at 2 meters. I can change that if I like to 70 centimeters. So I can, I'm a bit slow. Let's go again. So you can type in
4, 3, 0, 4, 4, 0.
So that's going to be our range now.
Enter.
So now it's saved. So now I can go change to frequency mode. And there are 3 modes: time, carrier, and search. So the time operation, or TO mode, is when the scanner detects a signal and after the factory preset time, it resumes scanning. A carrier operation mode is when the scanner stops when it detects a signal after the factory preset time and no signal resumes. And then a search mode is when the scanner stops at a detected signal. To resume scanning, then you have to press the hash key again. So if we're listening to a signal, we can go into menu, scan, and we can go scan for a subtone, and then say we can choose CTSS, and it will scan what we're listening to see what the CTSS is on that signal. We can press OK, and then it will save it to that channel. We can also, I'll just return, and we can scan the DCS as well, same thing, and then we can hit OK and it will save it to that channel. There's quite a lot of other options in the menu. A little shortcut, I can go down 3 to 3, or I can just type in number 3. And if you go into radio settings, you've got a whole lot of options here. That's your power save mode, your Vox setup, and Vox level, Vox delay, time to talk, that's quite a good one. So at the moment we're on 120 seconds. We'll leave it there for now. There's quite a lot here. You can turn on and off the voice, or change it to a different language if you want to, into Chinese. Poja, I'm not sure what that is. I think that's the Roger beat. So that's turned off, which is good. And then the beep, that's when I press the buttons. Backlight, power on displays in what you want to show, whether it's a picture or voltage. And dual watch facility, we'll talk about that in a minute because not many people really understand what that is. I've lost my spot. Where was I? About number 15. So I could type number 15 and it will go straight there. Or we can go through again. Auto unlock, alarm mode, alarm tone, and there's quite a lot of other things here. We'll have a look at some of these as well. That last one there is something good too. That's where you can program what you want the SK2 button to do down the side there. So at the moment it's on FM radio, that's the default. You can turn it to scan, search, or Vox. I'd probably keep it on scan or search. I don't really use FM radio, but you might use Vox as well, so you might want to change it to that. So dual watch, to go to there, just press the menu button. We'll go to radio settings, and it's item number 15. So I'm going to type that
5
and dual watch. Now in there, you've only got the option of turning it on or off. So what is dual watch? You can either have dual receive or dual watch. So I've got some radios that have dual receive and dual VFO, which means you can actually transmit on one frequency and at the same time receive another frequency, or you can transmit on both frequencies at the same time, or you can receive both frequencies at the same time. So this radio only has one VFO, so what it can do is it can receive both frequencies, but not at the same time. It'll scan them both, and if one talks, it'll listen to that one. If the other one's talking at the same time, you'll only hear one. So when dual watch is on, sometimes it can be a bit confusing as to which channel is actually talking if you're not looking at the radio. So you might hear someone call you on the top band, but you might be selected on the bottom radio. So if you return to them, you'll start transmitting on the wrong frequency. So you actually need to switch to the top frequency to reply back to them. So you need to know which frequency they're actually transmitting on when you hear it. So you transmit back on the right frequency. Sounds pretty simple, but it can get confusing, and that's why a lot of people turn it off. So if I go into menu, settings, enter into there, and I'm going to go to power save mode there. You've only got the choice of turning it on or off, and what that does, it doesn't actually receive for the whole time. So you might miss a few syllables when it's in power save mode. So it's up to you what you want to do. It certainly will increase your battery life, but you might miss the first few syllables of when someone calls you. So I'm going to show you the GPS now. So if I press menu and go to item number 4 and hit enter and turn the GPS on.
Enter.
Now if I exit straight back out, you can see I've got this little GPS icon here, whereas on this radio, which I haven't done it hasn't got that. So that just shows you that your GPS positioning is on. So while we're talking about GPS, the other thing you need to do is go back in there and set up your time zone. That way you can be sure that you're in the right GPS time zone and everything will work properly. And the last thing you need to do in the GPS area is go to the mode. So you've got GPS, you've got this one which is the China version of the GPS, or you can use both. once you've selected what you want, if you press and hold P2, you can see your place and where you are. I'm currently inside, so it hasn't picked up any GPSs yet. So while you're in this My Place area, you can press the menu key and you can also see which direction is north. You can also search between different contacts as well. So this looks like a lot of fun because you can actually share your GPS locations with everyone on the channel, or if you want to, you can actually request their GPS locations and then you can try and find them. Well, first there was 2, now there's 3. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? These are almost the same size. Look at that. Same antenna, or certainly looks the same. Same layout of the keypad. Same screen size. Let's look at the top, shall we? This one's got GPS. This one likes to think it has. Battery on the back looks pretty close too. Look at that. And look, why not? They're different radios. One's a Radioddity. This one's a Baofeng UV17R. Yeah, do different things, but very close. This one's got the lights in the bottom. This one does not, and it's not as flat as this one. Both fit into a cradle. There we go. Still both got 3 buttons down the side and can probably use the same stuff on the side there too. So if you live in the United States or Canada, you can listen to the weather, and by doing that you press the 0, hold it down, and you can see there it is. And if you want to scan, you press the Z and it will start scanning. There aren't any around me, so it's not going to stop on any, but if you live in the United States or Canada, you'll hear them there. I thought I'd do a test as far as the antennas go. So the one on the left has got the standard antenna. The one on the right has got the longer antenna, and we'll see which one works better. So these are not amateur radios, so they can receive on amateur radio, as we said before, and even air bands and a few other bands as well, which is great, but they cannot transmit. You cannot unlock them neither. I've even asked Radioddity, can I unlock it so I can transmit to do a test? And they said, no, you can't. So what I have here on the right here is my Baofeng, and that is an amateur radio. So what I'm going to do is I'm keyed it up here to this repeater here, 43875. So now I'm going to go to this radio, and I'll go to frequency mode
43875.
There we go. Okay, so that's listening to it. Now I'll do the same on this one.
Frequency mode 43875.
Okay, so there we go. So they're both listening to the same repeater. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to push PTT on this one, and we'll see which one receives it. Oh, look at that. The one on the right receives it, the one on the left does not. Let's try it again. One on the right receives it, the one on the left doesn't. So try one more time. There we go. One on the right, full strength, pretty well, and the one on the left isn't. Now I've got these radios lying down, and probably not the best way to receive, but they're both doing the same thing. So I thought it'd be quite a good test to see which one actually receives better. So there we go. We've proven that the long antenna actually works better than the short antenna. So now the other thing I want to do is to store frequency into the radio without using a computer. So if we press menu and we go down, we've got bank, scan, radio settings, GPS, we've done this, and program a channel. I'll go enter on that. So that's where you type in your frequency. So we can put in a frequency. Let's put that frequency.
Enter.
It's saved. Transmit power. I can choose high or low. I'm going to choose high. Bandwidth, I can go wide or narrow.
Enter.
CTSS, so I can put in a CTS tone if I want to. I'm just going to leave that off. Next one is your DCS. I'm going to leave that off as well. Then you've got your TX CTSS and your TX DCS. Encryption, so you can turn encryption on if you want to or not. Signaling. So this one here, item number 10, CH mod, you can choose what you want to display, whether it's the channel, the frequency, or the name. So that's item number 10. Interesting, in the manual, it's actually item number 11. So the manual doesn't quite line up with the radio, which is a bit of a shame, but there we go. Your other items are the offset, so you can choose what offset you want, what direction, and you can choose what channel memory you want it to go into. And you can select that here. So by doing that, you can delete a channel as well. And by doing that, you can save it straight into your memory. So the very last item in the menu is the radio info, and that's the version I'm running there, which is one of the first. But the manual is actually really good. It shows you all the menu items in a really clear table. So here's another fun fact. Well, I told you earlier about the radio name so small down the bottom here earlier. So another fun fact, but just before I do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us, and you'll get to hear other reviews and things that we're doing about amateur radio. It's a fantastic hobby, and I'm always learning, and I'm sure you are also. But if there is anything wrong or anything you want to know, please put in the comments below, or please share the video. Let's keep the communication happening, because that's what the hobby's all about. But here's a fun fact here on the side here, the SK1 button. It's got a picture of a light. But what does it do? Well, we've already sort of gone through that, but let's press it. There we go, it changes it to FM radio. But if I hold press it, it turns the alarm on. But let me tell you, there's no light. It's only the green light, I suppose. Here we go, there's a fun fact. We've got the symbol of the light there, or the torch, but no light at all. Thanks again for watching, enjoy, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.